Hey Jen, how you doing? Okay, so I've been looking at your work here, and I've come to this conclusion. I think it's really going to make a lot of sense to you. I think one of the issues with your work is that, well, this is great. I love this. One of the issues with your work, specifically the logo and pictograms, is that I don't think you're considering how the work is going to look at really small sizes. And you can expect anytime you design a logo that you might even be seeing it as small as a half inch by a half inch, and in some cases even smaller. So it's really, really important to design your logo to be able to withstand resizing. I don't think this is, and let me show you why. A really good trick to do is just to zoom out. So that's why I like it when you guys include a PDF with your submission, so we can do exactly that. But what I want you to do is I want you to watch the word Innsbruck, and I want you to watch the letters 2022. I'm going to zoom out. Okay, see it starting to disappear? Innsbruck is starting to turn into a line. 2022 is even further. Innsbruck is now gone. You can't see it. 2022 is very, very, very hard to see. And even one more. Now both are gone. You can't see either. So right now, all you're really depending on right now for recognition at a small size is the rings. Okay? So my recommendation is this. I think the logo is too complex. I would do this. You see this top part right here with these? I would just use that. Just use that. Forget the whole bottom part. Take the blue line out. Everything from there, remove. Okay? Let the logo stand alone. Then, in a sans serif, something preferably to give this a really contemporary feel, maybe something from the Universe family, a sans serif modern typeface, I think would really, really help. I do not recommend a small I. I recommend trying all caps, maybe even just a cap I and then small lowercase letters. But really try to work the relationship between the type and the mark so that when we do reduce the size, the type is still visible. This type is entirely too small for the relationship, the size relationship to the logo itself. Okay, so again, I'd like you to take your mark, your red mark, just the top, Innsbruck 2022 in a modern sans, and then your Olympic rings. And I really think that's going to give you the most versatility. And then if we go through and look at some of the work itself, right here, I think that this is a mistake, placing the Olympic rings over the graphics. Because right now, one of the things I think that was so charming about, especially the women's piece was the white sleeves. And we can't see those white sleeves now. And it just seems like there's been some compromise to the actual work itself. For instance, there seems to be like a light gradient right here. I don't know if that would be considered a light reflection from the image. That bulb is burned out, by the way. Do you see what I'm saying? So we're not able to see things like the brown in the socks. Those have turned to gray. And the line, the belt line that really defined the center of the lederhosen, that's gone. And a couple of other things that have kind of slipped by the wayside during the transition here. So try to maintain the original integrity of those. Now, like I said, I wouldn't place a graphic over them. To tie this in with Olympics, I would just put Damen and the little Olympic rings, and then Heron, and then the little Olympic rings. So you'll be tying everything together by including the rings, but you don't have to compromise the integrity of your graphics by placing the rings directly over the graphics. Next page. This piece it's not really showing much because this logo is not the logo that you have shown. For example, here's the logo you have shown. Now in design, and then here you have the rings over here, and the words over here, and the mark over here. So you've kind of dissected the mark, and that's something you do not want to do in logo design. There are instances where you can pull elements away and show elements on their own. But in a situation like this where you're just developing your branding, I highly recommend you leave that logo intact. That means once you settle in on a typeface, the rings, and the final mark, set it, group it, save it as a PDF, and place it as such. So because I don't want you to compromise the integrity of your branding by placement of the logo. Okay, hope that makes sense. Back to, let me see. Okay, the boards is a good idea. Doing the hockey boards or the ice skating boards is always a good idea. I think that's the wrong image, though, because it's featuring her, and it looks like two completely different. Try to get not such a close-up, but a farther away, maybe action shot, where you can see a good portion, a whole corner of the ice rink, and you can place your graphics in there. I think the tickets look great. I really do. I think that this area right here should be constant on both tickets. Okay, so in other words, don't vary that, because don't forget this is an international audience. Once once you have a presentation, stick with it, because that's going to be expected. Do you see what I'm saying? There's no reason why the bobsled tickets would be completely different in the informational area than, let's say, the ice hockey tickets. Correct? Okay. The pictograms themselves. This pictogram here is not the same as this This pictogram here is different than this pictogram here. This one has trails coming off it, and this one is background. If you're going to use a background, I highly recommend clipping the pattern to the background so you don't have these stray points coming out of the frame of the background. Okay, the pictograms themselves, I recommend doing, actually, that's pretty darn good. These are really good. I think they look great. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, basically that's what I have. So I think that getting the logo really down, I know we're getting down to it here, John. I realize that. And when it comes down to it, placing the graphics in that is probably the easiest part of the assignment. So don't consider yourself behind at all, because you're not. You just have to, let's get that logo solid, and we're ready to really start pumping this thing to its logical end. All right. I hope that makes sense. If not, let me know, John. I'll see if I can clarify. All right. Thank you. Good job.